A federal judge has thrown out the criminal indictments against New York Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey. These indictments had been brought by the Trump administration and filed by interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan, but the judge ruled she was not properly appointed, so these cases will not move forward. The cases were dismissed without prejudice. That means that the judge only ruled on the procedural errors and not on whether the claims are actually true. It was a month ago that Attorney General James made her first court appearance in the mortgage fraud case against her. She was arraigned. She pleaded not guilty. She issued a statement yesterday in response to this development, said she is heartened by this victory. And again, she said the charges against her over her second home mortgage are baseless. Criminal defense attorney and former Manhattan Assistant District Attorney Jeremy Saland is with us. Jeremy, good morning. Let's talk about this ruling from the judge yesterday. What does it take for a prosecutor to be properly appointed?
Well, the appointment clause of the Constitution really sets forth basic and easy path to follow, and that what was not followed according to the court. The president appoints, the Senate confirms. In the event that does not happen, well, the attorney general can then appoint an interim U.S. attorney for that particular district. There's a 120-day clock that ticks. After that 120-day clock ticks and one has not been appointed by the Senate and the president or confirmed by the Senate, then what would happen is the district judges in that place, in that location, would say, we are going to appoint the next interim until which time the president appoints. That didn't happen. There was an interim first. The president said, I didn't like you. You're out in the Eastern District of Virginia. And then that's when Bondi appointed Halligan as the second one. That was unlawful according to the court. Therefore, everything beneath that falls and cannot stand. So it's an issue of process, not an issue of substance in terms of the dismissal.
But it's also not it's not directly related to the fact that Trump was encouraging the prosecutors, the career prosecutors, to go after these two cases. It's more that in the decision to push them out, Halligan wasn't properly appointed.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of moving pieces here, Pat. And remember, there's still an outstanding issue of vindictive and selective prosecution that has not been addressed in terms of a dismissal for both the indictment against James and Comey. But you did have those tweets or those truths, whatever you want to call them, and they're anything but truths, that were pretty scathing and ugly about punishing these seditious people and going after them. And you had that later on with Kelly in an unrelated issue, but you had these, let's appoint someone, let's go after my political enemies, and let's have them prosecuted. And all of that taken collectively does not bode well for the Constitution or for these cases against Comey and James, should Trump and his team try to go and resurrect them.
All right, I want you to explain another legal twist to me here, because they were running up against the 5-year statute of limitations on the Comey charges. And
correct.
And now we're at the other side of that, so they might not be able to refile the case even if Trump wants to pursue it.
Right. And to your point, Pat, that's for Comey, not necessarily for James, but yes. So after you hit that wall, normally you would say, that case is invalid anymore. You cannot pursue it. The statute of limitations has run. There's an argument to be made, but it was addressed by the court, that there's a 6-month period after the dismissal of the indictment where the prosecution, the U.S. Attorney's Office, could resurrect or recharge. Now, setting aside the fact that they would have issues recharging with Halligan, would they have to have another interim prosecutor or someone else sign off on that indictment and present it? The real issue is the judge said, you can't hang that hat on that peg of injustice, on that peg of unconstitutionality, and then say, I'm going to have a fraudulent indictment to stop the clock from ticking and then re-indict again. You can't do that. So that 6-month bite of the apple is gone. The statute of limitations is gone. You cannot represent. Otherwise, you would allow constant false or fraudulent indictments to stop the clock, to stop the clock, to stop the clock. And the judge is saying, no, you can't do that. But we'll weigh in eventually up the ladder to the Supreme Court, I'm sure.
I want to switch gears for a final topic here. Senator Mark Kelly and some other Democratic lawmakers put out a video where they said to military members, if you are given an illegal order, you don't have to follow that order. Now we're getting word that the Pentagon is looking into Kelly's conduct. He is a retired service member. What legal peril does he face here? He would normally be afforded some protection as an elected official, but he does have that status as being retired military.
Yeah, technically, the Defense Department, or AKA the Department of War, which makes me feel really dirty to say, could recall him and say this is sedition or go after him for sedition, or ultimately actions and behavior unbecoming of an officer and maybe bring him down a rank on that face. But is he going to be indicted and charged for sedition and he was taking actual actions against the government to overthrow it? No, no. I think this is really, lawfare, if you will, on steroids, though it's really been on amped up steroids for a long time now. This is just Trump running his mouth. And unfortunately, a government that's really falling into place for him. But I think he's doing the right thing. He's standing up to bullying, and it's working for Comey. It's potentially working for James. It's working for other people.
Yeah.
The rule of law means something. And let's hope and see that this is just, I'll be nice here, hogwash.
Some analysis from Jeremy Saland this morning. Jeremy, thanks for making some time for us.
My pleasure.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.